and keep getting passed house to house. They usually act out, and it's very difficult to break them of that. So we did have a second inquiry out, and the initial report that we got wasn't really a problem, but then the worker followed up with a far more detailed report, and the girl had been through a couple of foster homes where she sort of expressed a wish to be fostered, but then didn't act like she did. And when the last time she was removed from foster care and she was taken to hospital because of an injury, and expressed a desire not to go back to that foster home, but at the same time she then expressed a desire not to be fostered at all. And that was probably about 9 months ago. And then 3 months ago she decided, I want to try out this foster thing again. And because of the problems she initiated when she was fostered or adopted, in initial placement, prospective of adoption, it was sort of, she was sabotaging the whole event every single time. And so we decided, we're really not sure she's into the adoption, let alone whether we have, it's not even down to us, it's really down to her. If you don't want to be adopted, you're going to sabotage that every single time. And she's getting quite old in the foster system. Probably got about maybe a year and a half left to go, and it's sort of, she's going to be a handful, and she's expressed strong desires not to be adopted. Nobody would ever want to adopt a person my age type of comments. And we kind of looked at that, plus the adoption worker said, you're going to have to go through some intensive courses on how to handle a kid with such severe emotions. And it's sort of, I'm not sure we're really up for that considering our age. Which was a shame, but we also put out some initial feelers on a couple of sort of teenage lads, and unfortunately all of their placements involved strong desires not to go to school that involved threatening people with knives. And that's sort of, no. That's going to be a problem placing them, but really I don't want to have to, lock up all the knives all the time. Okay, get back in that one, turn that off, turn the engine back on. But our feeling is, we've done foster care for, I guess, a good 4 or 5 years now, probably 5 years. And we've had good kids, we've had bad kids, we've had kids that we've demanded leave our home because they're that much of a problem. And normally the foster workers are like, oh, but they're absolute angels. It's sort of, have you lived in the same house as these kids? Because really, they're not. They disrespect you. They look at, if you tell them off, after explaining, they'll tell you what the house rules are, and when they break them, if you say you've just broken a house rule, it's sort of, oh, you don't like me, you just, I'm not your friend because you tell me off. So, well, if you want to be a productive person in society, you're going to have to follow the rules, and if you don't, then... But they then get to be so disrespectful that it's sort of, there's no bond with this kid. This kid is not, he's going out of their way to misbehave, and that's not happening in my house. Not when they're breaking furniture. One of them broke the faucet in the bathroom, which is a problem, and that costs me money, calling someone else to fix it. And so we've had kids just this person has to leave our house. And then we've had some really nice kids. So it's kind of hit or miss, but most of the kids we've fostered are sort of below 8 years old, whereas the age we're at, I'm kind of looking at it of, well, if we adopt someone, I kind of want them to have graduated high school and have a job and be looking to move out before I'm looking to move into an old folks home. So 2-3-year-olds is not in our age range anymore. And we have had issues with some of the social workers. I mean, we found with the adoption process, the workers tend to be, or at least they appear to be, far more frank with the information they give. But with the foster care workers, it seems all they care about is getting a child placed, and so you clean them up, clean, polish everything, stick it at the front of the, like selling a new car, cover all the rust stains, make sure it's got fresh oil in it, even though it leaks like a sieve, and do enough so that it looks really nice. Somebody buys it, and as soon as they get it off the forecourt, it falls apart. And that's what some of the foster care workers seem like. I just want this kid off my hands into a home, and I will say anything to get someone to take them. So you're clueless no matter what, how good the child actually is. You have absolutely no idea. You can't trust what the foster worker said. And even when you tell the foster worker that, this is the behaviours this child is exhibiting, and they're like, oh, well, they've never done it before, and it's sort of, I'm sure they have done it before, which is why previous foster cares families have said, I want this child out of my house. You've been told, but You decide to ignore it and then just claim ignorance every time it comes up again and again and again and again. And we know this because the last kids we had in the house had been abused by pretty much everybody they'd lived with. And we found problems. And we said, yeah, they can't be kept together because of the situation. And the foster the foster workers were like, oh no, they're fine. They're the only family each other have. So they must stay together. It's sort of, you will damage the younger kid if you keep them together. Oh no. Well, the police started investigating the abuse. And we got a phone call from the police to ask us some questions. Not that we're involved, but was there anything that we knew that the kids had told us, etc., etc. My wife spoke to them, and the police officer let slip some information about the current placement. The problems are still going on and the kids are still together, and it's not good. But the workers have ignored all the warning signs. They're not listening to people who, foster workers are mandatory reporters. If you are told by a kid something's going on, you have to report it to the appropriate authorities. And it's, you report it and they ignore it. It's sort of, why am I doing this? But the workers, one too many times you've broken my trust, and I can't do business with you. So we moved to an adoption-only agency, and they therefore they concentrate on adoption-only services. So they're not worried so much about we've got someone come into the system, we have to place them immediately, it's an absolute emergency, you've got 3 hours to find a home after the court case is over. We want as much information about the family as we can, we want as much information about the child as we can, and we want to try and match family with child, and we want it to work. And that's a good thing. Anyway, enough of that topic. Let's how are we doing with this? Are we halfway? Oh, we're beyond halfway. Yes, finally. So we will probably put another 800,000 in that bunker. Go driving through these a few times if I can. Tell you, the way I push my videos to YouTube, I'll take this stream and split it into approximately 30-minute chunks and export it to YouTube. And then YouTube will basically take 3 thumbnails take 3 thumbnails and as suggestions for what you might want to use as thumbnails on the video on YouTube. Well, I think it was 2 days ago, or yeah, on one video, on one extract, 30-minute segment, all I had was shots of this tractor driving through silage bunkers, so I just had to pick one. And then pretty much every other video, 30-minute segment on that day had at least one shot of this tractor running through a silage bunker. The New Year's Eve video, it was the yellow truck with the seed hopper on the back, parked in the store. One video had all three stills were of that truck, and every other video still had that truck parked outside the store, because I parked it there because I needed to load it with seed. And I think in the last 30 minutes I loaded it with seed right at the end of the 30-minute segment, drove it back to the farm, dropped the hopper off the back, and cleaned the truck and parked it. But the only other time it was seen in all of the videos was me just tabbing through it, and that was the still that was selected by YouTube. Sort of, really? Oh, whoops, no, that was good. I'm going to pull up alongside it again, at least for a little bit, to get that straightened out. So again, we'll have close to 59,000 litres in this truck. Go. Thank you. Okay. We've been looking at homes online and not finding much out there. We've got one that's been out there for over a year. And we looked at it, and it was sort of, this kind of meets everything we're looking for. And whoops, and we went shopping that weekend, and on the way home we just decided to take a drive through a couple of the small towns around here and just basically go out for a drive in the countryside type of thing. And this was back in September. Well, we're just driving down this country lane and home for sale. So, and we just drove past it and sort of didn't think anything of it. My wife said, "Oh, yeah, that's the house we were looking at that we thought might fit us." So, "Oh, really?" So we turned around and we went back and looked at the outside of it, and when we pulled round to the front of the house, because the lane we were, or the country road we were on was actually to the side of the house, we pulled round the front, and turns out there was an open day on the Sunday, which was the next day. I thought, okay, well, we can go to the open house, take a look inside. So we did that, and We then went back about a couple of weekends later with our realtor, just to measure things up, to say, does this actually fit what we're looking for? And it's sort of, yeah, it kind of does. So about, I would say, 2 months later, we're not getting anywhere with selling our house, but 2 months later it went off the market pending an offer, and or pending on an offer. Now what we think is that the inspection went through, and that set of prospective buyers dropped out, and I don't blame them. We looked at the house. First thing I noticed was, okay, well, it needs a new roof, because the roof up there is 20 years old, so that's a goodly expense. The AC is 20 years old. The furnace is 20 years old. I think the water heater is new, but still you're looking at probably about $25,000 to fix all that up. Over the next year, 2-3 years. I would say the roof needs to be done in spring, because it is a bit of a mess, and all you need is really bad weather, and you're going to have weather inside your house, not outside your house, and added issues there. So I'd be inclined to do the roof before bad stuff happens. Normally with things like the furnace and the AC, the AC is going to blow in March, April, and the furnace is going to blow in October, November, because they've been sitting idle for 6 months, and then as soon as they start up, they might go for a couple of hours and then say, yeah, I'm done here, I'm dead. It's what both the AC and the furnace did in this house. So the thing there is to just have the money set aside and just expect them to go. So I'm not expecting to move in and replace the AC immediately, but I am expecting that one spring in the not too distant future, the AC is going to pack up and we're going to have to get a new unit. And the same with the furnace. And it's entirely possible that the prospective buyers took one look at that and said, yeah, we're paying for the house, and then we've got to fork out another $25,000 on top of that or thereabouts. We're going to look at something that doesn't need so much maintenance quite so soon. I can understand that. We've looked at it and said it's significantly less than we want to pay, and there's more than $25,000 in our budget to cover the repairs and renovations. So it's sort of, we're not worried about it. But we're not finding anything else that fits our desires. We're looking at a single story because of our age. This house, the master bedroom's in the basement. So we get up every morning, and the first thing you have to do is climb the stairs to get to the rest of the house to do anything. The laundry facilities are in the basement, which is a pain. We just want everything on the main floor. Now we'll make a concession if it's got, if it's say a 3-bedroomed home and one of the bedrooms is in the roof, we don't have a problem with that because we don't have to go upstairs every day. We can just say, we'll go and we'll clean the room once a week maybe when we feel like climbing some stairs. So, but so many homes, even when they've got everything's on the main floor, so all the bedrooms are on the main floor, kitchen's on the main floor, living room's on the main floor, and the laundry facilities are all in the basement. And they sort of, don't want the laundry facilities in the basement because that means, 3 or 4 we tend to do most of our laundry over 2 days, but sometimes there's a third during the week and it's just sort of, I've got to go downstairs and do the laundry 3 times a week. I'd prefer not to have to go downstairs to do it every time. Now when we lived in California, the laundry facilities were in the garage, which is kind of convenient, but then in Southern California it doesn't snow very much, if at all. It doesn't get cold, so the water pipes aren't going to freeze. And to put laundry facilities in the basement, in the garage in Michigan, you're going to have basically an insulated and heated garage. Whoa! In order to not have the pipes freeze on you. What time? 6 o'clock in the evening almost. Oh, so I think finances today on the farm, we are actually going to make a profit because of the contracts I did over on field 30, whatever it was. 2735, I don't know. It looks like field 35. So the contracts I did on field 35 are actually going to cover the costs for today. Started off with a slurry spread, which probably paid about 5,000. Then ploughed it, which was, I think, getting on for 15,000. And then I think cultivate, which was 3, and seeding, which I think was another 5. So we got some money in. Here we go. How are we doing with this one? It's wow, we're already up to 330,000 litres. It's not bad. Pull out and drop the tailgate. So what's the finances today? Oh no, not going to completely cover it. Oh, because we bought all that seed. Ugh. Yeah, so total income from jobs was 27,000. But we spent way too much on seed.